Alright guys, so yesterday we multiplied monomials by polynomials. Today we're going to be multiplying binomials. What does binomial mean? Two. So we are going to have be multiplying terms that have two things inside the parentheses. Okay, we have multiple methods of doing this. I'm going to show you both methods, and then I'm going to let you pick whichever one you want. Okay, so you can use either method you want. We have two of them. So I'm going to show you both of them today, and then from then on you can use both, kind of see which one you like best, and then that's the one you can stick with. Either method I will give you credit for showing your work. Okay? First method is called the box method. Ooh, I need to zoom out a little. Okay, so for the box method, you're actually going to draw a box, and you're going to make a grid out of it. So you're going to have 4 boxes in there. In the first step of the box method, you want to line up each binomial across the top and the side. Then you're going to multiply the terms across the boxes. And on the diagonal, we're going to have like terms, so you get to combine like terms. And then you want to order your terms in descending order. We will do an example. Just write down the steps first. Alright, so here's an example of 2 binomials, x plus 3 times x minus 4. This is what the problems are going to look like. Okay, so your problems are going to look like this, 2 parentheses, each parenthesis has 2 things inside. Okay, so to do the box method, we're going to draw a box or a grid that looks like this. It's a 2 by 2 box, so draw the box. Okay, so step 1 says that we want to line each binomial across the top and side. It does not matter which one you put where. So I'm going to say, let's put the x plus 3, the first term, I always put that across the top. So we're going to write x on top of one box and plus 3 on top of the other box. So we lined up the first one across the top. And then we're going to line the second binomial down the side. So x in one box and minus 4 next to the other box. So that's how we set up the box. Okay, you guys good so far? Now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the terms across the boxes. What does that mean? That means that for my x, I'm going to first multiply x times x and put the answer right here. What is x times x? X squared. Yes. Did you guys do Punnett squares in science? Yeah. This is similar to that. So then we have x times positive 3, and the answer is going to go here. What's x times 3? 3x. Good, 3x. Okay, then we move on to the minus 4. We have negative 4 times x. What does that give me? Negative 4x. And negative 4 times positive 3, the answer goes here. What does that give me? Good, negative 12. That was step 2. Step 3 says that we combine like terms diagonally. Where do you guys see like terms? The negative 4x and the 3x. So I always circle the like terms. The like terms should come out to be diagonal from each other. Not always, but most of the time. And then step 4 is we put our terms in descending order. So which one is the biggest term? X squared. So that's x squared. Negative 4x plus 3x gives me negative 1x. Minus 12. And that's your answer. We just multiplied the two binomials together. That's the box method. Does that make sense?
I thought it was the lattice method.
Lattice. You can also call it lattice method. That's what Mr. Case calls it. I call it box. Same thing.
Do that with Mr.
Okay? Questions on the box method. How do you guys feel about that? It's different. So from 1 to 5, how are we? You don't have to be a 5 right now. We've only done one example. Okay. Between 1 and 3 is mostly what I'm seeing. That's fine. We only have done one example. We will do more. But I wanted to show you the next method first. Next method is what I call the FOIL method. This is the way I learned it in junior high. We didn't have boxes in junior high. FOIL is an acronym. So FOIL stands for first, outside, inside, and last. That's what the letters in FOIL stand for. And those are going to tell you the order in which we multiply. Okay, so here's the steps to the FOIL method. Step 1. You are going to use FOIL to multiply the two binomials. So you're just going to follow the steps of the FOIL method. We combine like terms, and then we put terms in descending order. So we're going to do the exact same example that we just used the box method for, but we're going to use the FOIL method this time. Okay? So we still have x plus 3 times x minus 4. That's our problem. Okay, so step 1, we have to apply the FOIL method. The F in FOIL stands for first. That means that I'm going to take the first term of this binomial and the first term of this one and multiply them. So what I do is I draw a line between the two to show that I'm multiplying those two. So F stands for first, the first term. So x times x gives me what, guys? X to the second, or x squared. O in FOIL stands for outside, which means I multiply the two outside terms. The two outside terms are x and negative 4. What's x times negative 4? Negative 4x. I stands for inside. The two inside terms are 3 and x. So that is going to be positive 3x. And the L stands for last. That means the two last terms of each binomial, 3 and negative 4. So that's going to give me negative 12. Okay, now be careful. Last does not mean multiply x times 4. We can't do that, right? They're in the same parentheses. Okay, it means the two last terms of each binomial, which is why I draw the line. Okay, so then step 2, we combine like terms. My like terms should almost always end up in the middle. And that's going to give me x squared minus 1x minus 12. Is that the answer that we got the first time we did this problem using the box method? Yeah, we get the same answer. So you can use either method that you want. Okay? A lot of people like the box method. A lot of people like the FOIL method. It just depends on whichever method makes most sense to you. Okay? I like FOIL because it reminds me which terms I multiply, and it doesn't take as much space as drawing the box. But I like the box because it's a good visual for you of what you need to multiply. So it just depends on which method you prefer. For our examples, I'm going to switch it up between methods so that we're seeing both, okay? So, example 1. The best way to do this is to go through examples. So, example 1, x plus 4 times x plus 2. Okay, so for example 1, I think I'm going to use the box method. So let's draw our box. Okay, so we draw our box. What goes across the top? X plus 4. So we put x plus 4. It's very important that you keep the sign with the number, because if it's negative, that changes a lot of stuff. Okay, so make sure that you keep the sign with your number. Down the side is x plus 2. Okay, what I want you guys to do is see if you can fill in the box by yourselves. Okay, guys, what did you get for the first box, which would be x times x? Is there anybody in 32? Brooke, is that you? What did you get for that box? Good, x to the second. What about this box, x times 4? What is that going to give me? 15. Angel, which box is this one? What goes in here?
4x.
Good, 4x. Okay, what about this box right here? That's going to be 2 times x. Who's 31? Kaylee, is that you? What goes right here? It is 2x. Okay, and then last box right here would be 2 times 4, which gives me what? Who's in 10? Madison. 8. Good. Okay, so how many of you filled in the box correctly? Let me just see you raise his hand. If you did not fill in the box correctly now, this is all correct. Everybody did a great job. Okay, what was my next step? Does anybody remember or can check back in your notes? What's my next step after I fill in the box? Who's in 13? Genevieve. Good. Now, Genevieve did something that is very, very common, okay? Or she said something that happens a lot. She said you're going to multiply diagonally. We're not actually going to multiply these terms, even though I don't think you did. You just said it. Okay? But a lot of students multiply these two terms. We're not multiplying. We're just combining like terms, which means I am adding or subtracting. Okay? So what would my answer come out to be? X squared. 2x plus 4x gives me plus 6x plus 8. Can I combine like terms anymore? No, so that's your answer. If you used the FOIL method, you would get the exact same answer, okay? So whichever method you use does not make a difference. Okay? Example 2. X minus 5 times x plus 3. So since we use box method, I'm going to use FOIL method. Alright, so let's use the FOIL method on this problem just because we used box method last time. So FOIL, the F in FOIL stands for first, which means I am multiplying the first two terms, x times x. What does x times x give me? Who's in 14? Jacob, what does x times x give me? Perfect, x squared. O in FOIL stands for what? Who's in 4? Alexia, what does the O stand for? Outside. Good, outside. My two outside terms are x and positive 3. What does x times positive 3 give me? Is anybody in 33? Is that one? 24. Who's in 24? What does x times 3 give me? Good, positive 3x. Okay, I. What does the I in FOIL stand for? Who's in 16? Is that right over there? Okay. 9. Who's in 9? Niceus. What does the I in FOIL stand for? Good, inside. My two inside terms, is that a positive 5 or a negative 5? Negative. What's negative 5 times x? Who's 21? Negative 5 times x. Negative 5x, good. Okay, and then the L in FOIL stands for what? Who's 34? Antonio. Enrique. L stands for what? I don't know. Last. L stands for last. The two last terms. -5 times 3 gives me, everybody?
-15.
Thank you, -15. That was hard. Okay, so I got everything multiplied out. Now what can I do? Am I done?
Nope.
Who's in 5? Nick.
Combine like terms.
Good. Combine like terms. 3x minus 5x gives me what?
-2x.
Good. So we get x squared minus 2x minus 15. 15. Minus 15. 15. And that's your answer. So guys, it does not matter which one you choose, box or foil. If you decide you like the box method better, for showing your work, you need to draw the box, and I need to see all of the work inside the box, okay? If you decide that you like foil method better, I need to see the lines that you're drawing, okay? Just so that I know what you're multiplying by each other, okay? So box method, showing your work, is the box. Foil method, showing your work, is the lines when you're multiplying, okay? You can use either method. It does not matter which one. All right, here's what I want all of you to do. Example 3, x plus 3 times x minus 3. I want you to pick your method and start the problem. I'm going to give you about a minute and a half, okay? So pick whichever method you want, box or foil, start it out, and then I'm going to stop you in about 90 seconds. All right, how many of you set it up using the box method? How many of you started using foil?
I use a box.
Okay, so I'm going to use foil because it looks like a majority of us used foil. And I'm going to go through this a little bit quickly because I want to move on to a couple more difficult problems. So the F in foil stands for first, which means I'm multiplying x times x. X times x gives me x squared. O stands for outside, which means I'm multiplying the two outside numbers. X times -3. That gives me -3x. I stands for inside, +3 times x, which is plus 3x. And then the L stands for last, +3 times -3, which gives me -9. How many of you got this far? If you were using foil or box, doesn't matter which. Okay, next step is we combine like terms. I have -3x plus 3x. What does that give me? 0. They cancel each other out, so I don't have to write them. So my answer is x squared minus 9. And that's your answer. This is, and you guys aren't going to be using this yet until the next unit, but this is actually a special kind of binomial. This is called a difference of two squares. I want you just to write it right here, just so you've seen it before. Difference of two squares. Okay. Why do you think it's called a difference of two squares? Marcus? Because they're being subtracted. And what are the squares here? Do you guys know what a perfect square is? Do you remember from pre-algebra? The power is not necessarily 2, but it means we can take the square root of the number. It means it's a number times itself. Is x squared a perfect square? Yeah, it's x times x, right? Is 9 a perfect square? Yeah, what's 9? 3 times 3. So this special kind called a difference of two squares means that you are taking a perfect square and subtracting another perfect square. We'll learn about it more in the next unit. I just wanted to point it out to you guys so that when we see it, it's not totally brand new. Okay? All right, example 4. What happens if there's numbers involved in front of the x's? So 2x minus 8 times x minus 4. That's our problem. Okay, since I used foil on the last one, I'm going to use box on this one, so set up your box. If you want to go ahead and use foil, you can do so. Just make sure that you get the same answer as me. Okay, so across the top we put 2x minus 8, and down the side we put x minus 4. So if you're using the box, set it up this way. And let's start multiplying. What's x times 2x? 2x to the second power. X times negative 8? Negative 8x. Negative 4 times 2x? Negative 8x. And negative 4 times negative 8? Positive 32. Okay, so I'm going to combine like terms on the diagonal. My answer is going to be 2x squared. We have to write that first. Negative 8x minus 8x. What is that going to give me? Negative 16x plus 32. And that's your answer. So the steps are all the same, okay? Just because there's numbers in front of the x's, that doesn't really change anything. You guys, how is everybody feeling about this so far, now that we've been doing a lot of examples? Between 1 to 5, now how do you feel?
Better.
What is
That's
that
good.
noise?
Okay, so I'm going to skip example 5 because it's basically the same as example 4, and I'm going to go all the way to our last example, example 6. This one has two variables involved. X plus 3y times 2x plus y. Okay, I'm also going to use box method on this one, guys, just for my box method people, because you all are in a minority this time around, which has never happened to me before.
What does that mean?
That's a big word, actually. What does it even mean,
Minority? It means there's less of you.
Oh.
Majority means that there's more. Minority means that there's less.
Just admit it, Mr.
So my box people are a minority in this class.
Just admit it, you like the box method, baby. You don't understand.
I like foil method. Okay. Well, just like you. Okay. 2x times x gives me 2x squared. Now here's the tricky part. 2x times 3y. 2 times 3 gives me 6xy. Good. We always want to list them in alphabetical order, so put the x's first. Because with multiplication, order doesn't matter, right? So we can list them in any order that we want. So convention tells us that we do alphabetical. Convention means what's typical. Okay? So then y times x, that's going to give me xy. And then y times 3y?
3y to the second.
3y to the second. Okay, now this is where it can get a little confusing as to where we order things. We still want everything in alphabetical order. So we're going to put 2x squared first. We have like terms right here. 1xy plus 6xy gives me 7xy plus 3y squared. Okay? So we put the 3y squared last because alphabetically this one still comes first because there's x's in it. Okay? So we do it alphabetical and then in descending order. So we always put the 3y squared last. Okay? Because we still need to put all the x's in front of the y's. And that's your answer.
So we don't combine it to... Oh no,
Because it's xy and you're just combining like terms, it's just 7xy.
Wow.
Mhm.